Hey, on the phone is a gentleman who was very candid about some situations going on, all alleged situations that since have sort of developed into stories, and we felt like we owed it to you. We felt like it was our duty, not only here on the program on SiriusXM, but also in the YouTube world, to kind of do some follow-up with this, because people have wanted to know what's going on and see if there's updates. And now we won't do a ton of follow-up about this Nicole Arbour and Matthew Santoro, but I think what we will do is some follow-up regarding, hey, are YouTubers being accountable to their audiences in stories that they're telling, knowing that a lot of it is predominantly a teenage following? Rob Dyke, how are you?
Not bad. How about you?
I'm good, pal. What's going on in Rob Dyke and the Rob Mob? What's going on in your world?
Just setting up for a new show and doing my thing there, and that's about it. For now, just the same old kind of deal.
Great. When you say a new show, what like a new YouTube channel, and is it a television show? Is it a new angle on things? What do you got going on?
It is a web series that's going to be on my main channel. It's called Social Autopsy, and what we're going to do is we're going to be dissecting popular social misconceptions or just long-standing ideas that maybe we can take another look at and maybe make people think of it differently than they always have.
Wow, you got to explore those Berenstein Bears, which is something we've been trying to get involved, talk about, but we didn't have the time for, because apparently they changed spelling your name, and it has a lot to do with ecstasy. Rob Dyke, you, I mean, listen, dude, you've been blowing up for a while, and I know you don't want to get into specifics about Nicole Arbour and Matthew Santoro. I know that's a sort of ship has sailed, and they're dealing with it. But what's the fallout been for you since you've got involved with us and told the tale? How's everything going in your camp?
Everything's going pretty decently. I think when you have a loud enough mouth, a lot of the time people tend to know that you're going to go and you're going to use it. So they don't try to go after you too much. So some flack I got was from a number of people believing I went behind Matt's back and exposed the story without his consent, when in actuality Matt has admitted multiple times just through social media that he did give his consent for that, and that I was kind of his voice when he wasn't ready to speak up. To this point, Matt still, aside from a few kind of vague but not so vague Twitter, posts, tweets, he hasn't really said anything definitive. That ball is in his court if he decides to go that route and vocalize it and speak out against what happened, even indirectly, just to, not be too vengeful or anything like that. I think, that's his decision. But for me, really, it's just being there for Matt, being as a friend, and just moving on and just doing things like we, used to do before Nicole came into the scene, and just kind of maintaining that friendship and picking up like we never missed a beat,
Have you talked to Nicole Arbour's people at all since you've been on different shows, including ours?
I have not. Nicole hasn't contacted me. Her team has not contacted me. So I'm pretty much just, I said my piece, put my hands up, and, let the chips fall as they may.
Fair enough. And listen, it was obviously a story that people were intrigued by. Thanks to you, honestly, Rob Dyke. We got 250,000 views on a YouTube channel. That's not our world. We don't focus on YouTube. Obviously, we focus more on the radio program. But you coming on the program and telling a story, whether it's true or not true, and I think some more stuff's come out to kind of show. What is there an update that you can give, or do you just want to move on from it?
There's really nothing in regards to an update. There is something I want to clear, though.
Sure.
I want to say it because I noticed it was talked about in one of your videos. I commented on the video. This was the advice for Nicole Arbour video that you made, where I believe it was Jay speaking, that it seemed opportunistic after her sudden rise in success, if you can call it that we would come out with this. And one thing I just want to say is that I understand why people would be thinking that, but also at the same time, the breakup happened a little closer to her release of Dear Fat People, that video, than a lot of people realize. And sometimes, especially in a situation where abuse is a factor, it takes something to push, to bring someone out into the light and to have them speak and to be ready. Matt has always kind of battled with telling people about what happened even after the first time they broke up. And it was always like a resounding, I don't want to do that, I can't do it, I can't do it. But I think that when Nicole puts herself out there, and it's a byproduct of this breakup because she no longer, this is what I believe, she no longer has Matt to leech off of, so now she's doing her shock comedy. I believe that, that's a result of that, and it pushes people into drive to say, okay, she's treating people horribly, she's destroying people's, feelings, and how, she has a responsibility to a fan base that is much younger than what she claims it is. The demographics are primarily young girls. So if she's doing that, maybe, you get that fire in you to say, okay, people need to know that this wasn't a joke. She actually is a toxic person. And now's the time to strike while the iron's hot and to show people the truth while people are actually listening and actually care.
Now, Rob Dyke, that's all in your opinion, right?
Correct.
Now I have to ask, though, alleged stories aside, I haven't really done a ton of follow-up other than, and we'll get to it in a minute, which is the accountability to a young audience, and I think that's the most important message, and something I'm very proud of you of, and we'll also talk about that in that minute. But my last kind of point on this issue, did anything come from Nicole's camp? Because I thought maybe I saw a few things where she had admitted to any of the hitting or anything. Did that happen?
As far as I know, she hasn't publicly admitted anything. I mean, I know of the text messages. I have copies of those text messages where it is a full-blown admission to hitting Matt. But now she did do an article recently for a smaller blog where she twisted the story and made it seem like Matt was trying to drive drunk, and that's why she wasn't letting him leave, which I don't believe worth anything, and it was kind of atrocious that kind of allegation would come out. But that's the only thing I've seen her address that as, but I haven't seen her admit to the physical contact or anything like that.
So I think that's the article that Brody had mentioned to me in passing, and we thought not to sort of get into this that much more, but you're saying, and I think, Brody, you saw it too, where she said something like in an article, whether it's true or not true, that she slapped him as to not get in a car, to drink and drive.
I can't recall exactly if that's what the article specifically said. I only read it once. I didn't really care for it, but if that's what she's saying, that, in my honest belief, is a complete fabrication.
You know Matthew Santoro very well. Does he strike you as a guy that would ever consider drinking and driving?
No. Now, Matt likes to, I've had drinks with Matt, like most people do. You get a little drunk, but no. He absolutely would not, under any circumstance, drive drunk.
I mean, listen, and that's from a good friend saying that. So, I mean, who knows? I guess those allegations, they've kind of gone away. And who knows what's going on in both their camps, as Santoros or Arbours. But I think the overall thing, which I wanted to discuss with you, dude, is I went on your Twitter. I've gotten to know you a little bit, and it's just through direct messaging and stuff. And I really like the shows you put out. I mean, they're well edited, they're educational. But I think back to that understanding your audience, you probably understand that in the YouTube world, there is a younger audience. And in your latest video, you went hardcore and made very clear to note that this is not a joke. You were warning people of a graphic nature of a video, and I wanted to applaud you for that, because that's been my message through and through and through and through and through. And you said it about Nicole's audience, and I can tell you personally that Nicole Arbour was on my program about a year ago, just over a year ago, and her own management team, and I don't know if they're a management team now, but they sent me an email saying, please be careful of those sort of controversial topics because, quote, Nicole is about empowerment and has a massive teenage girl following. So, I respected that. Not, listen, maybe my show's not for you because I have an adult following. But, and that's what I think you're getting. And I think that's the accountability issue that a lot of you YouTubers who have these younger audience should do what you're doing. So tell us about how you warn people about some of your graphic videos.
Well, now, the newest episode, it'll be released this Wednesday, of my show, Seriously Strange there. It concerns the deep web. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, what you can access through Google is known as the surface web, and anything you've probably ever been on online has been the surface web, and it seems pretty massive. But that is actually, in total, a very small percentage of what the web actually really holds. It's also referred to like an iceberg. The tip is, wow, that's big. But below is much, much exponentially larger. So the deep web contains a lot of stuff that isn't terrible. It's just on the deep web. And but there's the darkest recess of the deep web is called the shadow web. And now, I wouldn't even explain it on the show, the things that go on there, but it involves profiting off of human torture, sometimes in real time, through use of webcams, murder, rape, severe abuse. This all applies to humans and animals. People pay exorbitant amounts of money to sometimes direct their own snuff film. So these are things that happen in the shadow web. So I need to make my audience. My audience is mostly adults.
Okay.
I mean, I have some of a younger audience, but it doesn't matter because there are people who have been through traumatic experiences. There are people who have been raped, people who have been tortured. With 2 million subscribers, I have to kind of assume that, the worst has happened. People have known people who have been murdered. So it's almost like a trigger warning where it's like, listen, I'm not screwing around. This isn't to hype you up. And if I really recommend, if you don't think you can handle it, don't watch the video. I'm not in it for that. I'm in it to educate people, to tell a story, and there's a sense of entertainment to it, and that's fine. But people have to know that it's real, and this is true evil. This isn't a guy shoots his wife when he finds she's cheating on him. This is legitimate. I'm going to profit off of the suffering of people. I mean, it is above and beyond anything I've even told you. Your worst nightmare is on the shadow web, and if you don't know what your worst nightmare is, you just go to the shadow web and you'll find it.
Yeah,
but I never do that because you can get in legal trouble for even just being there anyway. So
it's Jay Brody's a guy who just reads and understands stories. Have you ever heard of a thing called the shadow web?
No, I thought it was a shitty Spider-Man comic from the 80s.
Okay. No, that's even worse. No,
yeah. Dude. The things you talk about, man, on your YouTube channel at Rob Dyke, and it's just the Rob Dyke is where you get to it, right?
Yes.
Do you ever fear doing research like this? Do you ever? Yeah, man. You're obviously I know how outspoken you were. Do you ever fear being the guy that's not afraid to say or call out not only people but now this darkness that exists in humankind?
The thing is, a lot of the stories are already known. They've already been exposed. That's the only way I can get my hands on them.
Sure.
Now, my co-writer did go onto the deep web to a capacity. So we were able to confirm a number of things, but I can't say afraid, but it's just telling these stories. Now, do I call anybody out? Do I say, okay, we need to find these people? The FBI is doing all that. That's not my job. My job is to inform, educate. And if there is a possibility to help people, like people who are missing or something like that, that's fine. But I try to just tell the story the way it's already known, but it's only known by a few people, and I tell it in a different way, in my own way, and that's what people seem to like.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, you're good at being a reporter on YouTube, and it's not YouTube is just like. Think of it as a major television series now. That's the way you got to look at it. Dude, I had no idea this existed. I had no idea you went and sort of explored something to me that just without watching your videos sounds just so sickening and so kind of it crushes my soul because I want the best for people. I want the best for this planet. I want us to come together in positive ways and loving ways. And I joked yesterday that I couldn't even kill a bee in my house. Because I just want good to happen. So this is what you do, though. It's talking about things. Your stories are chilling, and that's what you've kind of made a great career on doing, and obviously obviously you don't condone any of this stuff, but you report on it. Rob Dyke, you're one of the guys who I can tell you're always very compelling to talk to, and you haven't disappointed us this time either. But one of the things, and I just want to say it one more time, back to the accountability of an audience, whatever topic you're having, the warnings are what I applaud you for, and I think it's important that you're giving disclaimers, and thank you for doing that. And I think others could learn from you in your community where really there isn't kind of these disclaimers that are just mandatorily put there. So thank you for doing that. And maybe when if you ever do get in touch with Nicole Arbour's camp, say, hey, well, we're talking about different things. If you're doing hardcore shock humor and you know that you're talking to a massive teenage following, let them know that this might offend you or upset you.
Yeah, that's the problem is while it is compelling to watch a video that's like warning, this is graphic, and people feel like, I think I'm going to watch it. You're kind of challenging me. But I deliberately went out. I talked to some of my fans through Twitter, and they said, listen, is there animal abuse? Is there child abuse? Is there anything like that? Because that stuff I can't handle. And I specifically publicly said in a reply to them, if you cannot handle animal abuse, child abuse, or anything like that, do not watch. And there's a number of people who have said, okay, I'm going to skip this episode. And I'm fine with that. But a lot of people, they're in it to make money. They're in it to get known. So they think the warning kind of dilutes that.
It will dilute the hits, which will dilute the money coming in and dilute the fame and attention that they get from it.
Right. So, they're offending people for a profit. It's not just to propagate the health of comedy and fight against, be the people who think they have no right to be offended or anything like that. I agree that you don't have a right to not be offended. I understand that, you're going to be offended by something. That doesn't mean you get to eliminate it. Can you speak out against it? Sure. Can you work your own counter, argument against it? Absolutely. And that's fine. That's what being in a free country is all about. But, there are just people out there who specifically target an audience because they know they throw them under the bus. They say, okay, I'm definitely going to go viral with this video, but the only way to do it is by really hurting a lot of my fans. But I don't think that even comes to mind a lot of the time. I think they're just like, okay, I'm done being a nobody. I'm going to throw as many people under the bus. I'm going to take out as many people as I need to. I'm going to step on as many hands as I can if it means I'm climbing to the top. And that's how they think of it, and that's what they do.
Yeah, and it's all about a career, and that top can come down awfully, awfully quick. And I have a feeling, Rob Dyke, we'll be hearing from you in a decade from now, but others we won't be. And I think that's the most important thing. For me doing this job for 17 years, I get the longevity aspect of it. And that's one of the things that I hope YouTubers, where you don't really have managements and people guiding you and stuff, I think you just understand that from a moral issue. Pretty chilling stuff that you deal with, man, on Report On. And the channel is at the Rob Dyke, the Rob Mob. Make sure you go check out all his great videos. We Seriously Strange and the Twisted, dude, you're doing it all. Thank you. Hopefully we catch up for you, and do us a favor, when we get this out on YouTube, you can help promote it for us as well. How does that sound?
Oh, of course. I've always got you guys' back.
You're a beauty, man. Talk to you, Rob Dyke. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Hey, what's up? I'm Roddy. Subscribe to our channel. You're going to love it. For the rest of this episode, you got to check out our podcast online on the website. Go check it out. You won't be disappointed.